Let's get to Tesla here, continuing to drive lower in today's session, touching its lowest level in 2 years. Shares have been cut nearly in half this year alone, and the chart master is firm on his call. Keep selling.
You can draw the lines any way you want, but if I think the lines draw themselves.
But the execution to me is just so puzzling. The idea that you'd want to cut teams and have people in your core infra leave and potentially risk the service shutting down in the middle of the World Cup, which is going to be its peak usage. I mean, that, and also NFL season, on top of that, I just don't personally understand exactly the way he's going about things. Maybe he'll turn it around, but it's been a bad week for him.
So I've got to be honest with you guys and girls. I've been debating whether or not I should make this video. It just doesn't seem fair to punch down so far intellectually. I feel like I'm picking a fight with a potato. But you know what? When the potato's got a large platform, also known as CNBS, and there are foolish people out there who actually think stocks astrology makes sense, I've got to say something, especially when said clown is giving investment advice, literally telling people to keep selling Tesla stock. Near 2-year lows after near flawless execution over said 2 years. These idiotic comments will not age well. And don't get me wrong, Tesla stock could go lower, but not because testicle analysis makes sense. Wait, is that the word? What do they call it when they read charts that don't make sense and make shit up that fits their narrative? The point is, I just got to make this video, and sorry to the Ask Blaster, my chart master, what the f is, I don't know. Anyway, I apologize in advance for destroying this guy, but it has to be done. You can't say stupid shit about Tesla and get away with it around here. Sorry. Don't worry, mashed potatoes aren't all that's in store in today's video. We're also going to be reacting to more discussion in the mainstream media about Elon Musk's Twitter turnaround. This is going to be good. And this is the final reminder. Patreon price is increasing in less than 24 hours, depending on when you watch this video. It might have already happened. If you want to lock in today's pricing, now is literally the last chance. So click the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment to join. And obviously I did post another exclusive video to Patreon today, well over 220 exclusives and counting fast. Oh, by the way, massive thank you. We finally cracked the top 75 global Patreon accounts. Unbelievable. Let's get into it.
More turmoil at Twitter unfolding within the last 24 hours. Another round of employee resignations last night amid rising concerns about the future of the social media company.
So can I just say something controversial? I'm just kidding. I don't give a f if you think I can say it or not. I'm going to do it anyway. There's nobody who's actually concerned about the future of Twitter except those who are absolute morons who've bought into the fake news and the mainstream narrative. The one true narrative that Elon doesn't know what he's doing, that getting rid of useless staff that don't want to work hard is bad for the company and somehow going to stop them achieving their goals, and that expecting your employees to work hard and really care about the mission is nothing short of authoritarian, dictatorial, totalitarian, fascist, and all the other ists and isms and all the other shit that these people are saying right now because they hate their fucking lives and are trying to get meaning, and the only way to get meaning is to hate Elon, because that's what the current thing is. Hate Elon Musk. And therefore, if you hate Elon Musk, obviously he doesn't know what he's doing about Twitter. Now look, I'm just kidding. I don't really mean it when I say that the only people that think Elon's going to fail at turning Twitter around hate their lives, because that would be casting a very wide net, and how could I possibly know this to be true for all the individuals who are currently hoping that he fails and simultaneously going to Twitter to laugh at him and tell him that they hope he fails? I'm sure there's another explanation besides mental illness, unprocessed childhood trauma, and self-hatred. I'm just not sure what it is. If anyone has any ideas, please let me know in the comments below.
Bring in Alex Kantrowitz of Big Technology and Casey Newton of Platformer. Both are CNBC contributors, and both are with me here at Post 9. It's good to see you both in the house for a change. I'll start with Casey first. I mean, he's certainly keeping his business in the news. It feels like there's a new development like every 10 minutes.
It really does. Well, look, Elon Musk is super focused right now on figuring out who is loyal to Elon, who will implement the plans that he has for this company. He's been obsessed with the idea that there are leakers and saboteurs lurking within the company, and he believes that after today and this latest purge, he's working with loyalists.
Well said from this guest. Loyalists sums it up perfectly. Elon has purged all the UFWs. If you don't know what it is, someone will explain in the comments. The only people remaining at Twitter now are people who are completely committed to the mission, who are willing to work their fucking dicks off, do long hours and hard work, and get shit done. This is the exact type of culture we have at Tesla and SpaceX, who are obviously catastrophic failures, and therefore Elon's doing it wrong. Elon, dumbass, you're a stupid billionaire. What do you know about anything? Check out this tweet from Elon last night, approximately 1:30 a.m. San Francisco time. Just leaving Twitter HQ code review at around 1:30 a.m. on a Friday night. This is what dedicated employees look like. Elon happy enough to actually share what they were discussing. I mean, here's a flowchart or whatever the these things are called. Feel free to pause it. I had a look over this last night. Pretty interesting. More importantly, the people who are actually happy to be there at 1:30 a.m. Of course, all the trolls are calling them bootlickers, and that's what happens when you're not part of the top 0.1% of humanity and you don't really care about what you're doing, you're not very capable. You just sling mud at people. Oh, they're just bootlickers. That's why they're at 1:30. Unbelievable. Considering how sleep deprived these people are, this is a pretty impressive number of smiles. By the way, special points to this chick at the back here. I think she wins. I mean, how about that fucking face? Anyway, here's a second shot of engineers, presumably mostly engineers, having some discussions. Elon there chatting to a group, super low key. Now, a few people have commented on this. You know, woke wankers, where are all the women? Despite the fact that there's a good half dozen women in these photos, I just want to point something out that's so controversial. I'm scared to say it. Are you ready? If you ever needed proof that men and women are different, here we are in a single fucking photo. If you happen to be too daft to understand my point, I will actually explain it because I think it's important that adults still understand, okay? Most of these people, presumably, are engineers. It's almost as if, on average, more men are interested in and working as engineers than women. Oh my God, I just said that out loud. Can you imagine I said that out loud? Men and women are different and they make different choices, and this is an example of exactly that. So brave and controversial, I know. Of course, if you ask an angry for the explanation of this, I mispronounced feminist. If you asked a feminist, when I say feminist, I'm not referring to a woman or a man who actually believes that women and men should be treated equally, have equal opportunities. That's just a normal human being. You know what I'm talking about. I mean the angry woman with blue, pink, orange or fluoro-coloured hair who hates her life and didn't have a father, now has issues with men, would explain this as the patriarchy. But I just wanted to say yet another controversial thing here because no given and it's important to understand. But the real point here, going back to the earlier point, this is what you want. These people want to be here. It's 1:30 in the morning and they are happy to be working because they care about what they're doing. This is how you make products and services that really have an impact on the world. Mad respect to every single one of these people. We appreciate you. The hate stream media may not, but we do.
So you got the office apparently temporarily locked last night, right? I mean, Twitter was a place to be last night, I got to tell you. You got the emails to the engineers today in which one said the following, at least reported by Zoe Schiffer. Anyone who can actually write software, please report to the 10th floor at 2 p.m. today. Before doing so, please email me a bullet point summary of what your code commits have achieved in the last 6 months. That's just one of many that I could cite. But what do you make of this?
Well, last week I was on with you saying we need to give Elon some time before we say whether he's done a good job or not. I didn't expect it to only be a week before we could say he's really messing this platform up.
That's right, Elon. You need to slow down because we can't keep up with you. If you're moving fast, it means you're doing it wrong. Please slow down. We preferred the glacial pace of old Twitter. You're moving dangerously fast.
Now,
you really think so?
I think that there's the plans are good. I like the idea of him trying to transition Twitter away from advertising and towards subscription. When the users are the customers, you make healthier decisions. Some of his content decisions, the fact that we're not going to have people have their messages taken off the platform, but you keep them on and then you question the amount of amplification, that makes sense to me. But the execution to me is just so puzzling. The idea that you'd want to cut teams and have people in your core infra leave.
Some people just don't get it. I mean, he made a few good points there, and then he goes on to suggest that getting rid of useless fucking wankers is a bad thing for the company. Getting rid of some of your core infra is in infrastructure. It's not even worth explaining this again, is it? It's just not. I'm just not even going to bother. Okay, yeah, good point. Get rid of the useless wankers, therefore that's bad for the company. Good point, man. You got me. You got Elon. He's doing it wrong. Hey, Elon, you should rehire all those useless wankers that didn't want to stay and work hard because you need them to come back so they can stay and not work hard.
And potentially risk the service shutting down.
It really amazes me how fully detached from reality some people are. This guy actually genuinely thinks there was and still is a risk of Twitter shutting down because Elon's got rid of the dead weight.
In the middle of the World Cup, which is going to be its peak usage. I mean, that, and also NFL season, on top of that, I just don't personally understand exactly the way he's going about things. Maybe he'll turn it around, but it's been a bad week for him.
A couple of things, credit where it's due. He admits he doesn't really understand what Elon's doing, so I appreciate that. Remember, if you don't know what you're talking about, just say it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't understand it, and he's trying to share his 2 cents. So respect for admitting that. I'm not going to tear this guy a new one, because at least he admitted out loud, I don't really understand what's going on. Maybe he can turn it around. But this most definitely was not a bad week for Elon. In a single week, he's done what no other big tech company, which is full of useless wankers, mostly infected by the woke mind virus, entitled victims, what no other tech company has been able to do in the last decade and a half. Get rid of all the useless employees and drill down to a core team of elite engineers who really care and will work their fucking faces off. This is a great week for Elon. Oh, never mind, highest ever activity on Twitter.
So you're speaking to some of what the policy is going to be. And Casey Musk himself has tweeted in the last 2 hours, quote, new Twitter policy is freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. Negative hate tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized, so no ads or other revenue to Twitter. You won't find the tweet unless you specifically seek it out, which is no different from the rest of the internet.
Yeah, so what you're hearing right there is this company is seeing a free fall in advertising, right? This company depends on 89% of its revenues coming from ads. Most major advertisers at this point have paused. Elon is getting out there and saying, whoa, 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 there might be bad stuff on our platform, but it's not going to be amplified. You're going to have to look really hard to find it. And by the way, that's not a terrible policy, but keep in mind, he just has eliminated most of the trust and safety folks who are trying to keep the platform safe.
Do they turn the advertising story, Alex, around, or at some point does they get too far gone to bring these companies back?
I mean, they might eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. You think about it right now, the entire advertising industry is in a pullback, especially when it comes to digital ads. Think about these companies, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. They're all struggling. They're begging advertisers, please come spend with our platform. And advertisers are like, maybe we'll throw a few dollars your way, Facebook. Maybe we'll throw a few dollars your way, Snapchat. And then Elon Musk comes in and just barrels through, says we're not going to do trust and safety anymore, or at least implies that with some of his earlier pronouncements. And now he's like, well, we're going to pull back a little bit. Maybe you want to spend with us. If you're a media buyer at the table with your boss and be like, here's our plan. Okay, we got Twitter at the top. You're going to get fired. Okay, so I think that you definitely need to, if you're Twitter, be patient here, because there's been enough damage caused at kind of like the worst time, the time where you need to make the best pitch to advertisers. They've made the worst pitch to advertisers. So could it recover? Maybe one day, but I don't think it's going to be this month or next month or maybe even into 23.
You agree with that from an advertising perspective? Because that's really what boils down to how he is going to try and make some of the money back that he spent on this property in the first place.
That's right. He has lost a lot of trust with advertisers in the past 3 months, and it's going to just take time for that to rebuild. And one of the ways he has to rebuild it is just by hiring a bunch of people, proving that he can keep the lights on in that place, right? Proving that he can keep the service going. So there's a lot of really low-level tasks he has to accomplish in the near term before I think those advertisers are going to want to come back.
So let's talk about these advertisers, at least those who've temporarily paused advertising on the platform or some other bullshit. The majority of them have been pressured by woke activist groups pushing an agenda, which is the one true narrative. These companies have all outed themselves as pathetic, useless, virtue signaling, and they'll do whatever it takes, including hating and or supporting the current thing. As we know, hating Elon Musk is the current thing. The people that buy from us also support the current thing, which is hating Elon Musk. Well, we're not going to support Elon Musk because we support the current thing, which is not supporting Elon Musk. These companies are all doomed over the long term. To be fair, this is a huge catastrophic loss of advertising revenue, but this shouldn't surprise too many people. The extent of it might, but virtue signaling from woke Woke Inc. If you haven't read the book, go read it. Sums things up perfectly. This is entirely predictable. But I think most advertisers will realize the potential of advertising on Twitter, especially as Elon and the team amp up the ability to monetize content, including video content coming soon. I think most advertisers will flock back to the platform because remember, the one thing they care about more than virtue signaling is making money.
Let's get to Tesla here, continuing to drive lower in today's session, touching its lowest level in 2 years. Shares have been cut nearly in half this year alone, and the chart master is firm on his call. Keep selling.
Tell you what, if this chart master was a stock, I'd short the fuck out of him.
So Carter, what are the charts saying?
Yeah,
they just sell.
They say kind of keep selling, but I mean, what a mess. Here, just a simple exercise. If you were just to find, we know almost everything is bounced since October 13th.
Dear Santa, I have been a very good boy this year, and I was hoping that you could help me to lose my virginity. I don't mean you, actually, because that would be a bit... I'm not into that. And I also don't mean my anal, because, I lost that already trying to short Tesla stock. Really f***ing hurt. Signed... Oh no, I'm going to reveal my name if I sign this out loud. Oh, shit. Are you guys ready to find out my name? I think it's time. Signed, Richard Cranium the Third. Okay, but couldn't understand that, which is good, because you'll be confused. Okay, anyway, excuse me. I just noticed something on the chart. Look on the screen now, because I've discovered this is called a Cybertruck formation. Look at the chart, it's a fucking Cybertruck. I just need to check my menu, hang on. Sorry, hang on. What does it mean when you have a Cybertruck on your chart? It means the stock is going to drop even further and you should keep selling. Okay, well, case fucking closed. I mean, that is the most perfect Cybertruck signal I've ever seen in my life. So, obviously, we should sell all your Tesla stock because the chart said so. Remember, technical analysis makes sense.
If you look over a broad aggregate like the Russell 3000, find stocks that are making new 52-week lows today. It's a very small group of a dozen or two, and This is not a small stock. Anyway, I have two charts, the exact same time frame. You can draw the lines any way you want, but if I think the lines draw themselves.
Draw the lines any way you want? Let's just ignore the ridiculousness, I mean the logical absurdity of that, and don't mind if I do. As everyone's favourite stocks astrologer points out, we can actually draw the lines any way we want, to paint any narrative we want, which proves that technical analysis makes total sense. And given the freedom to draw lines any way we want, I think I might draw a couple of lines here just to prove my point. Ahem. You know what? I don't think those lines quite suit my narrative. Let's try again, shall we? A little bit more effort on this one. How about that? Looking good. Perfect. I've never seen lines that look so good in my entire life. We've got to remember, draw the lines any way you want. So let's just do exactly that. I think we've just got a few more lines here just to really illustrate the point, and I think we've got it. Sums things up in a nutshell. No further comment necessary. Let's move on.
I mean, what we have here, and this is sort of very symmetrical, that Tesla has respected these lines, and now, of course, we are hovering right here at a break juncture. We actually undercut that low ever so slightly today. Let's look at the same thing and draw the lines a different way. And some people like to call their formations, name them a head and shoulders, something that's been documented for decades and decades, and that's what this is. Now, how to know how low it will go? The truth is, it's anybody's guess. But we close around 180, and I think certainly 150 is in the cards.
Carter, is that line 180? Do we actually breach that line? And I guess my question is, if for some reason, the stock manages to find enough oomph to get above that line, does it make you more confident maybe that there is hope that line could actually be a floor for the stock?
Sure. I mean, that's the nature. We did actually undercut it ever so slightly, and you can still save yourself, so to speak. But the real issue is twofold. One, it's just how poor the relative strength is. To have had almost all equities globally bounced for the better part of 4 weeks, 5 weeks straight, and to not participate means you're just not attracting buyers. People are looking at it, but buying something else. And then the second thing is, let's say it does start to trend, and it comes to life a little bit. There's so many people who are now trapped above who would love to trade to knock out. That you encounter overhead set supply on any kind of rebound. It's just it's heavy. The second thing is that you encounter overhead set supply on any kind of rebound. It's just it's heavy.
Shit, did I miss anything? Sorry, fell asleep.
Carter, worth? Sell it?
Yeah.
Can't believe how fucking dumb these people are. I just can't believe how fucking dumb they are. I'm going to revisit this video in a few years' time and point and laugh. Tesla is near 2-year lows. Near flawless execution in that time, and these fucking morons are doing stocks astrology, following the herd. The chart said sell, let's sell.
I'm looking at the chart as well as he was speaking, and the next area of support is 167. That brings you back to 2020 levels, and it could go as low. What I'm looking at is the mid 20s. So 167 stutter step support down to 125.
Did I miss the memo? Did CNBS pivot to satire, or is this actual real life?
Jeff Mills?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've been saying to sell Tesla for a while, and I've been wrong, starting to look right. But listen, I think that maybe even some people looking to step into a stock like this say, you know what, maybe we get a Fed pivot, maybe interest rates drop, and then you get a pop for some of these tech names. I just don't think that's the reality. The bond market now is pricing in the same peak Fed funds rate that it was prior to that soft CPI print. So for the bond markets, nothing has changed. So I would not be wading into names like this that look technically weak.
Question. What is the name used to describe a group of bats? Cauldron. I'm not kidding. And what is the name used to describe the collective group of absolute fucking morons? The panel on CNBS. I cannot believe people this dumb are allowed on air. I feel like this is a joke. It's a setup. Like they decided it wouldn't be funny to film in the studio, but actually just do dumb shit and people will think we're serious. Can't believe this.
In hopes that we get some sort of reversing course in interest rates. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I agree. I would sell Tesla here.
Another issue is that even if there is some sort of reprieve for tech stocks, Tesla might not fall into the category just because of all the other stuff that's going on with Elon Musk, Tim.
Well, and also it's an auto company, right?
This is a setup. There's no fucking way. Everything's perfect. They're just a car company. Technical analysis makes sense. I agree. You're selling, I'm selling. Let's all sell near to you. They got me. There's no way this is real. This is a joke. It's like an April Fool's joke that's months too late, right? They're not serious, are they? It's too perfect. It's just Too perfect.
I mean, I thought, if anything, we were going to be introducing the concept that auto companies have fallen under a lot of pressure. I realized GM had some positive comments this week about their EV business and et cetera, and Ford and GM are well off their lows. But if you know, as a guy who's long both of those stocks and think those fundamentals are great and those valuations are at least defendable.
Just when I thought it couldn't get any better, Tim Tam over here reveals that he's long GM and Ford stock. If you ever need a proof, we live in a simulation and somebody's just trolling. I mean, f*** me.
You can't tell me that Tesla doesn't get pushed around by the same auto trade and the heaviness we're seeing in the cyclicality. You go housing and then you go straight to autos in terms of where the Fed is impacting the macro economy. And I would also just get to the marginal buyer of Tesla stock outside of institutions has been a retail investor. And if you see the fallout in some of the asset classes, including crypto and some of the high multiple tech, this is the group of folks that were defending Elon and defending the stock at all points. The 3 or 4 big rally points for Tesla over the last 3 years have been an S&P inclusion, a stock split, and of course the good stuff, the profitability that got them into the S&P, and production numbers, really the numbers that started to get them when they started talking about 500,000. And so some of those positives are things that clearly are in the price. I'm not sure what those positives really are going forward, especially when you consider the headwinds in the auto sector.
I honestly have no words left. I can't believe this is real life. I can't believe this actually aired. I can't believe these people are serious, and I can't believe they actually think what they're talking about makes sense. But to conclude on a positive note, at least you're not them. And this is the very last reminder to join Patreon now to lock in today's lower pricing before the price increase. You can do so with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment, and you'll instantly unlock well over 220 exclusive videos and counting fast, plus up-to-date access to my Tesla price targets and regular Q&As. So, see you over there. Love ya.